Hi, welcome back to another quick fix video, and this is our second shoulder fix video. Now, we've spoken about posture, we've spoken about how we sit and how that relates to the posture we possibly have. Now we're going to start to do a bit of rehab to get us strong in a neutral position, or prehab to prevent us from going into a flex position, or you could use it as a warm-up for some sporting endeavour. So, for instance, before you go on the driving range, if you play golf, before you go on the golf course, if you play tennis, before you come out the locker room onto the tennis court, just with something as simple as this is a resistance band. You can use any form of elastic band. Dynabands are very good, but a lot less resistance than you'll find on this one. You can just spend a couple of minutes really warming yourself up in a good neutral position and give yourself a lot of mobility and flexibility that you otherwise wouldn't have. And it's very, very simple. What we do is we take this, and you can probably hear that, that's the wind. We've got some terrible wind here today. It's really, really windy. Hurricane season. Take hold of your resistance band. Now, I've got a purple one which is quite thick, but to be fair to you, I'm stronger than most, and I quite like using this band. In fact, I've got thicker ones over there, but you can get a lot thinner ones, and I would go for the thinnest one you can. You can buy them in rolls from any sort of online physio type place. Amazon, I think, have them as well, and you can use them to your heart's content. Just cut off a strip about 2.5 feet in length, and away we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to take hold of both ends. I'm going to get myself in my neutral position standing. Okay, so you might want to use a mirror initially to do this, but get yourself into position. Now, I normally go quite high, but if I do that, you're not going to see me, so I'll keep it a little bit lower. Straight arms, shoulders back, okay, so your shoulders are down, back, and what you can do is you can rotate. Now, you want to be very careful here. I'll show you what I mean. If you turn your hand upwards, so we call that supination, okay? If you turn it up, it will put torque through your shoulder, but put your shoulder back into its normal position, okay? If you internally rotate, pronate, it kind of lifts the shoulder a little bit, okay? So we've got supination, so our palm is facing up. We've got pronation, our palm is facing down. We want to be a little bit supinated so we get our shoulders in a neutral position and our shoulder blades back round the body, okay, round our back. So you're going to see me supinate slightly and then pull apart, okay? What that means is the supination will mean that as we go back, our shoulders will stay down, okay? If we pronate slightly and come back, we can raise our shoulders, and that means that we actually use trapezius muscle on the back rather than getting the shoulders and the little muscles in the shoulder itself that hold that shoulder stable. Now, bear in mind here that your shoulder is very much like your hip joint, okay? Your hip is a ball and socket, but quite a tight one, so there's not a lot of movement. You've got a bit, but you haven't got a great deal. The shoulder is more shallow, it's like a dish. It's still a ball and socket joint, but there's a lot more movement in your shoulder. You have a lot more that can go wrong there, okay? Now, the body holds it in position, not with bone like it does in the hip joint, excuse me, but with 4 little muscles called rotator cuff muscles. Okay, now what we're trying to do is strengthen those rotator cuffs so we get into a nice, good range of movement position, a nice neutral position for that shoulder, so that when we perform any sport, we throw punches, we swing a golf club, anything like that, we're doing it with a good quality shoulder movement. So we feel less pain, we feel less resistance, and more importantly, we can be more powerful in that position. Okay, so hold your band up. Internally or externally rotate slightly, so supinate, remember? So we get torque through the shoulder. We pull apart, we squeeze the shoulder blades, we come back. Keep the arms straight. When you've got used to that position, nice, smooth movement. You can go quite quickly. And I get clients to do anywhere between 10 to 20 of these, okay? Now, the next movement on from this is something called dislocations. Called dislocations for a very good reason, okay? Slightly less of a grip, so don't go quite so wide this time, come in a little bit, but you can pull it to torque. You want a bit of resistance here. Again, you want to supinate slightly so you've got those shoulders down, shoulder blades down the back and together, and then just up and over, okay? And this is, as I say, called dislocations. Now, what I do is I actually use a thicker get one. I actually use a thicker band, so this is a much thicker band for this. Okay, but then I've got a little more mobility than most, not because I've always had it. As I say, I used to be a boxer, so I used to be very internally rotated, but I've been working on this for a wee while now. Okay, and if you're feeling very, very brave, the next stage is to get something solid like a bar. In this case, what we've got a dowel rod here. It's quite, you want to feel like you're pulling the bar apart. This is what you're going to have to do to supinate. And you go up and over, whoa, and there you go. Okay, so that's the second stage. Using something just very random like a resistance band to really help get the body used to working through that comfortable range and getting you strong, or starting the process of getting you strong in a neutral position to enable you to go through your day expending less energy, okay, getting you in a much better physical position, a much better postural position, getting that neutral right, and then taking that out onto the cricket pitch, onto the tennis court, or onto the golf course or driving range to enable you to produce more power naturally, and therefore it's quite simple, will enable you to hit the ball harder, drive further, etc, etc. Okay, so that's it for video number 2. Got one more video to show you after this. We're just going to take that progression a little bit further. Okay, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next video.